Okay. So today we are going to talk about theorems that are the converse of what we talked about on Tuesday. So if we have a conditional statement that is if P, then Q, what is the converse? If Q, then P. So at the bottom of page 78, if two lines are cut by a transversal to where the corresponding angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. So now we're going the other way. If corresponding angles are congruent, then our lines are parallel. So like in this picture right here, if angle 2 is congruent to angle 6, then J is parallel to K. That is what this is saying. We can go backwards with our theorems. Are you okay then?
This is very distracting. It's over. Yeah.
We're just talking about depression today.
Yeah. I think
She was here today. I didn't see her.
I think I'm starting to catch it.
She came, but then she got back.
She said a traumatic
She went
experience.
Oh yeah, she went outside because her class was outside.
You guys don't want to come to gym day?
I didn't, but I didn't.
Gym day is the best.
No,
Gym day is-
it's a good dodgeball where people don't get out from
Okay.
Oh.
Go to the next page. Also, a converse for alternate interior angles. If two lines are cut by a transversal so that alternate interior angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. So like in this picture right here, if we know that angle 4 is congruent to angle 5, then we know that J is parallel to K because our alternate interior angles are congruent. Also, I have convinced Dr. Carson to come do dance transversal with us on Monday.
Good person from today.
She could not come today. She said Monday was better. I gave her the option. I know. It'll be a good spark to start our class period on.
Whatever.
You should lose.
Okay, same thing. Now alternate exterior angles. If alternate exterior angles are congruent, then we know that the lines are parallel. So in this picture, if angle 1 is congruent to angle 8, then we know that J is parallel to K because we have alternate exterior angles that are congruent. And of course, last but not least, if we have consecutive interior angles that are supplementary, then our lines are parallel. So if we know that the measure of angle 3, if angle 3 and angle 5 are supplementary, then J is parallel to K because our consecutive interior angles are supplementary. do you think we're gonna get to eventually do with this?
Proofs again?
Bingo.
Just your kids.
These proofs are so much easier to write though, because of these theorems that we're talking about right here. Okay. Like honestly, these are some of the easier proofs. Okay.
Well, I really don't know how to go.
Sam does not say.
If Sam does not study.
Then he will fail his test. If Sam failed his test.
If I get taken out of this class, you should put me in top.
He goes out.
Okay. So let's just like take a look at this right here. Okay. No, let's just talk. Okay. Let's just talk. If I said that angle 1 is congruent to angle 3, which two lines would then be parallel? A and B. So angle 1 and angle 3, the line shared is L. L is the transversal. So these are forcing A and B are parallel because 1 and 3 are different. C word.
Different.
Corresponding.
Thank you. 1 and 3 are corresponding angles that are congruent. Therefore, A and B are parallel. We'll get there. All right. What about 2 and 5? 2 and 5 are what kind of angles? Alternate interior angles. Which one is the transversal? A is the transversal, so our two parallel lines are L and M, OP. What?
Oh, no, yeah.
Okay. Okay, what if I said that 3 and 7 are supplementary? What kind of angles are 3 and 7? Consecutive interior. And since our consecutive interior angles are supplementary, it's forcing which lines to be parallel? L and M. It's actually L and M. When you say L and M, it sounds like L and M. And so it sounds like you're doing the
Why?
L and mine L.
Okay, we're gonna take a timeout. There's page 5.
Oh, wrong thing.
Page 3. Close. All right. Here our diagram is maybe a little bit messier. Okay. But you have it in front of you so you can draw. So EAJ and CBD are congruent. Which two lines does that make parallel and why? Brayden, what do you think? If these two angles are congruent, which two lines are parallel? So lines, if they're not named with a lowercase letter, you're gonna have to name them with 2 points. JK is parallel to, you said LB. And how would you know that? Okay, but which theorem, like, what kind of angles are these? Okay, because our alternate exterior angles are congruent. Okay. Now I'm gonna go to the second one. I'm gonna highlight AGB, AGB, and DBG. These two angles are congruent. So when we have that Z, we have transversal, parallel line, transversal. I like that. Those are alternate interior angles,
Yeah.
right? Harvey, which two lines are parallel?
The, oh, wait. Is it, um, is it AD and BG?
Okay, so here's what I want you to look at. So the line that both angles touch, that's the transversal. The other line that the angles are touching would be one of the parallel lines. So
AG, or
Uh-huh. AG and that would be great. AG and BD would be perfect answers. All right. Our next one, ABD. ABD. And GDB. So this guy and this guy are supplementary. So which one is our transversal? Okay, BL or BD, DL, whatever. So this guy right here is the transversal because it's touching both of those angles. Okay, forcing Alex, which two to be parallel? AB and GD are parallel, and our reasoning would be that we have a pair of consecutive interior angles that are supplementary. Oh no, I didn't write a reasoning for number 2. When you go back, alternate interior angles are congruent. Not okay, because we're about to write a proof. Guys, did you hear me say that these proofs are gonna be easier?
No, proofs are easy. I don't like proofs.
Why can't you just delete?
Why can't you just prove it?
That's all I hear right now.
My bubble got you. Your fish dog.
All right,
What the proofs just involve fish?
I will show you in 1 minute. But first, we must discuss K, G, D, and bag. So this angle right here is congruent to this angle right here. So notice how both of those angles are touching the line AG. That's the transversal because both of them touch this line. Forcing, then what two lines are parallel?
AB and GB.
Again, because our corresponding angles are congruent. Now, technically, we should say the corresponding angles converse. You know what? If you tell me corresponding angles are congruent, I'm pretty excited about that. Okay. So if you turn the page to page 4.
Oh, I think to get in for
I was so focused.
So go ahead and make your 2 columns, statements and reasons. And what do we always start with? Okay. So our first statement is the given. Harvey, let's just like talk about it without writing things down. We want to prove that G and H are parallel. So what two angles would be important to like talk about in order to say, hey, G and H are parallel? 1 and 3. What kind of angles are 1 and 3? Alternate exterior. So if we could show that angle 1 and angle 3 are congruent, then we will know G and H are parallel. Okay, so we know that 1 and 2 are supplementary. So what does that mean to be supplementary? Okay. Okay, so the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 equals 180. Eventually, we need that angle 1 and angle 3 are the same. So what could we use to help us? What? I have, there's nothing I can substitute yet. But there's something that I can look at that picture and know. How do we know that? They are a linear pair. So we know that angle 2 and angle 3 are supplementary because they are a linear pair. And if angle 2 and angle 3 are supplementary, then we know that their measures should add up to be 180. We're getting closer. I guess I should put my degrees there. Okay. What can we do now? Okay, we can say, hey, if both of these add up to 180, right? Then we know that the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 equals the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 3.
That measure angle 3, we can find out parallel orders.
But we did say we need them to be the same so that we can use the alternate exterior converse theorem. Okay, so what do we need here? What do we need to do now? Okay, so now we have the measure of angle 1 equals the measure of angle 3. Okay, so now we know that angle 1 is congruent to angle 3 by the
Definition of congruent.
yeah. But was it hard, Brayden? Okay. And since we know that 1 and 3 are congruent, then we can say line G is parallel to line H because our because our alternate. I think it's H, it's just a terrible H. Because our alternate exterior angles are congruent. Wow. Now this one did have a lot of steps. Guys, I picked a crazy one to start with. Okay. Okay. Harvey says, on paper, this looks so simple. You can talk your way through it, right? If you can talk your way through it, you can put it down in the 2-step proof. Okay. So, do you see page 5 there? And then on the back, page 6, that's your homework. Page 5 is all algebra. Page 6, you got some proofs. So we have 9 minutes left of class. You decide which ones you want to start and which ones you want to leave for the weekend.